welcome. In this video, I am going to explain what is random file accessing or how to access files or the data in the files randomly. So file accessing can be classified into two types in one context, that is sequential file accessing and random file accessing. In sequential file accessing, what we do is we can access the data byte by byte, one after another. Whereas in random file accessing, we can access data randomly. That is, from byte 1 we can go to byte 100, and from byte 100 we can come back to byte 20, so on. Let's see some of the sequential file accessing and random file accessing media. So this is a music cassette where we can play music. This is a magnetic tape, and this is regarding the video. So again, there is a magnetic tape inside this box. So to play this music, we use tape recorder, and to play this movie or video, we use what is known as VCR or video cassette recorder and player. So in olden days, we used to use magnetic tapes to record the data, audio and video data. And here data used to be accessed sequentially. But nowadays we use random accessing media. Whatever you are using right now, all comes under random accessing media. The hard disk that you use, the CDs, DVDs that you use, the pen drive that you use regularly. Here you can access the data randomly. Suppose there are 100 files, you can access file 1 and then immediately you can access file 10, then come back to file 5, so on and so forth. So in random file accessing, we can read and write information anywhere in the file, and we can move in forward direction and backward direction as well in random file accessing. Whereas in sequence file accessing, we can move in forward direction only. Let's see these pictures so that you can understand better. Since sequence file accessing, to reach byte 8, we have to go through all the bytes. Whereas in random file accessing, from byte 1 we can go to byte 2, from byte 2 we can go to byte this location, and from this location we can go directly to this location, and from this location to here, and from this location back to here, so on. This is another picture. So sequential file accessing, we can go through byte by byte only. Whereas in random file accessing, from byte 1 or from the starting byte, we can jump to any desired byte. Now let's see what we are going to discuss in this video. I am going to explain 3 programs in this video. In the first one, we are going to find out how many records are present in a file, in a binary file. So remember that for performing random file accessing, the data should be stored in binary format. Only then we can predict how many bytes are allocated to a record. Whereas in sequential file accessing, whereas in text mode, if you store the data in text mode, you know that in text mode, the number of bytes that are stored in the hard disk depends on the number of symbols. So we can't predict how many bytes are allocated for a record in text mode. It varies from record to record, because one person's name may be 4 characters, another person's name may be 6 characters. One person's fees may be 4 characters, another person's fees may be 5 characters, so on. So that's why remember that to perform random file accessing, first of all, the record should be written in binary modes. So that's about the first program. Then the second program, we are going to ask the user to enter some number and go directly to that record and get its data. And in the next program, we are going to write new data at a particular position of user's choice. To perform random file accessing, we use 2 functions. We use fseek function to go to a particular position, and we use ftl function to know the current position of the file pointer. Let's jump into the programs. Before starting the random file accessing, let me show the current data. So these are the records in the file students1.obj. So these are the ID numbers, names and courses and their fees. So we have 6 records. Remember this number, 6 records we have. So this is the location. Now let's write a program so that it can find out how many records are present in the file. So same student structure. So same file name, just mention that we want to read from this file. Now see, first we have to go to the end of the file. For that, we use the function of seek. This is the file pointer. Now let's see this one. Seek and indicates where we want to start from. We want to start from the end because we want to find out how many bytes are present in the file. So take the file pointer to the end. This one indicates how many bytes we want to move from this position. We don't want to move, we want to stay at the end only. So 0 indicates that we want to stay at the end only, don't move from this location. So in this way, we can move the file pointer to the end of the file. Now, using ftl function, we can know the byte position. It gives the byte position. Now I am displaying the size of each record. The byte position, say size of each record is 50 bytes and byte position is 250. So 250 by 50 gives 5. Let me run this program. So you can see that we got the output number of records 6. So size of each record in our example is 68 bytes and the position of the file point is 408 and 408 by 68 gives 6. There are a few more points that you should remember in this program. Make sure that the size of each and every field in the structure is same as that of the program where we used to store the records in binary mode. If you give a different number, say 20, then see what happens. The student's object size now varies, it will be short, but the byte position remains the same. But we are dividing with a smaller number, we get a bigger value now. Let me build the program as we have made some modifications. Now see, it is giving 8, which is wrong in our case because of the size of each record is 48. This remains the same. 408 by 48 now gives 8. I hope you have understood the importance of maintaining the same size throughout all the programs. I hope you understood this program. Now let's move to the next program. We are done with this first program. In the second program, we are going to ask the user to enter record position and get that record directly. Yeah, so same student structure. So same file. We are asking the user to enter record number. We have 1 to 6 records. So make sure that the user enters a number in between 1 to 6. Okay. Right. So we can put a if condition to check it. To keep the program short. Okay. And to the point. I am not writing that if condition. Now look at this. So this is our data. So for the sake of simplicity, I have taken the record size as 50 bytes. Even though in our case it is 68 bytes, for the sake of simplicity, I have taken the record size as 50 bytes. See, this is byte number 0 to 49, 50 bytes. Again, the second record starts at byte 50 and goes up to 99, so on. So here what we have to do is when the user enters a number, say 3, the file pointer position should land here when the user enters 3. But you know that size of each record is 50 bytes. If we say 3 into 50, it lands here 150. 3 into 50 gives 150. If the user gives 1 into 50 gives 50. So we get the second record instead of first record. So what we have to do is, whatever position the user enters, we have to subtract it by 1. If the user enters 1, 1 minus 1, 0. 0 into 50, 0. If the user enters 3, 3 minus 1, 2. 2 into 50 gives 100. So that's what you should remember. That's what I have done here. So record number minus 1 and multiply with size of each record. That gives the positions, number of bytes to move. Now see, fseek is used, if you remember, fseek is used to move the file pointer. So which file, whatever file fp is pointing, from which position, from the beginning. This is a macro, these are all macros. So from the beginning, how many bytes we have to move? So these many bytes we have to move. If the user enters 3, 3 minus 1, 2, 2 into say 50 gives 100, so 100 is third record. Then read that record. So freed, you know what you pass to the freed. So read the data into S, the starting address of S, read 50 bytes or 68 bytes, read one such record, read from this file. And whatever data you read, we are printing it. Let's run this program. So enter 3. So if you remember, this is the third record. If you enter 1, and that was our first record. So before jumping into the next program, let me show you the constant values of these macros. So seek set indicates that we want to go from the beginning, and its macro value is 0. Seek current, it indicates that we want to move from the current position, and its macro value is 1. And seek end means we want to move from the end, and its value is constant value is 2. So whenever we use seek set, we always give the position in positive number only. Whenever we use seek end, we either give 0 or we give negative value, because from the end we want to move in the backward direction. But whenever we use seek current, we may move in the forward direction or we may move in the backward direction. So the position could be a positive value or a negative value. Okay, we are done with the second program. Now let's move to a particular position and write with the new data. So this also acts as updating a record. Updating a record with new value. So starting with the same structure. Now see, in this program we want to update, means do some writing as well as display all the records to check whether updation has taken place or not. So you want to do both. So that's why I have to mention read in pointer mode. Plus indicates also perform writing, means updating the data. So both operations we want to perform on the file, same file, reading and writing. Of course in pointer mode. Now first we ask the user to enter a record number, then enter the new data into the student object, then go to that position as you have done in the previous example, then move to that position, then write the new data in that position. Once the data is written, say, so this is our data. If the user enters 4 as the position, so we enter the new data here, but we want to print all the records started from the beginning of the file. That's why I said seek set 0. It moves the file pointer to the beginning of the file. Why we are moving to the beginning of the file? Because we want to display all the records. So this you already know how to display all the records from the starting record to the ending record. So we can keep on reading the records and display the records. Let me run this program. So enter record number, say enter 4. Let's enter the new data. Let's say the ID number is 444 so that we can easily identify it. Let's give the name as, let's give the course as, let's say the fees is 5,000. See, this is the updated data. I hope you understood this third program as well. So in this way, we can perform random file accessing. Hope this video is useful to you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.